We are giving away a card, and all you have to do to enter is like, comment, subscribe, and on Friday I will be picking one comment randomly and announcing it in the video. Now back to the video. What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're gonna go over the best 5 decks that you could be playing for rank right now if you want to see a lot of success. Yes, this is week 1 and I have been hovering around the 200 points to 190-ish points, and so far these are the successful decks I've been playing. Now, without sugarcoating it, you're probably not going to see your favorite deck here. We're just going to be honest with, what the best decks are right now in the format. And let's just get started with Mega Absol and Hydreigon. Yes, this deck right here is insane with the Nihilego and the Poison Barbs. I don't know, it's just kind of crazy how every time I play against this, they always have the Nihilego with the Dano. But that being said, Lucky Ice Pop definitely made Dano Hydreigon so much stronger. And, it's just like, I feel like the card is like 70-30 on flips. Like, it is insane how consistent it is, right? And you do want to, pair it up with the Poison Barb and the Nihilego to add more damage, because in this scenario, you can make Mega Absol a very successful attacker. Now people are playing regular Leap Absol as well to counter the metagame as well. So you could either do that. It's really personal preference, but this is mainly the build that you're gonna be seeing on the ladder, and it is super strong. High roll, you can't go wrong with a high roll deck, right? You want to be in and out of games efficiently as possible, and I feel like this is one of the decks that will not lead you astray. The next deck I want to talk about is Greninja. So I prefer the one that has like a Frogadier. You do want to see your Frogadier more. I mean, Greninja's more on the board, more than not. Chingling is really common in this metagame, and you do have 3 different Greninjas and 1 EX. You could either mix it up and do double Gren EX, or it really is a meta call, but like I like this version too because you have the Ndidi for healing as well. And not only that, Rare Candy could get you into your Greninjas fast. Suicune is one of the best draw engines with Altaria and Hydreigon being out in the meta. Suicune is still a very strong, valid deck. Like, this deck performs really well against those 2 decks, and I feel like people are just underlooking the potential of Suicune in this metagame, and I feel like this deck right here is super solid. Would recommend you guys run this deck because it's kind of broken, I'm not gonna lie. Now next up is a old classic. We got the Dark Greninja, which is Mega Absol, Darkrai, Greninja, and Chingling. So the fact that you get to abuse Chingling in this deck is amazing. Like, the deck is very, like, you have to know where to put your energies at the right time, and it's not dual energy, it's dark primarily for Darkrai. You want consistent pings from Darkrai and Greninja. So that being said, this deck right here is super consistent. It's like tried and true, right? It wasn't phased out of the format, and it's still performing really strong. In the top 100, you could definitely see this deck being played, and I would recommend playing this deck because it is somewhat consistent, and it's really strong in the meta. Next up, we have Altaria and Greninja. This deck right here is insane. It's like Greninja just makes this deck work so much better. And overall, I think the Frogadier version versus Double Rare Candy is the best way and the safer way to go, because Chingling like I said, exists way too commonly in this meta not to be respected. So that being said, that's what I would recommend you guys play, because like just overall, like, you don't want to be locked in a Chingling battle, because like that's the absolutely worst case scenario that you want to be in. um yes, Swablu is just overall like one of the best cards in the game right now, because like it can win you games you have no business winning with like coin flips. You guys think Lucky Pop is bad? No, Swablu is still the problem. And it could like allow you to buy time to set up for your Greninja plays as well. Like, just overall, the deck is consistent. You have the double Cyrus, of course, because you do the double pings, and Copycat to copy hand size. Like, Copycat's one of the most broken cards in the game right now, and I would recommend not overlooking this deck. Last but not least, let's talk about Gourgeist and Mega Altaria. This deck is insane. There are many scenarios where Gourgeist just came in and just won me the game, because the opponent did not start, like, they only started with like a Froakie, for example, or something with like 70 and under HP. Like, this Gourgeist steals games. Not only that, you could put like 70 damage on the Pokemon before on their active Mega or whatever, where before like you pull out the Altaria, because Altaria hits for like 130, and this variant it could hit for 140, right? So add an additional 70 to that, and you're KOing most Mega Pokemon. Now, that being said, right, I do not play Training Arena in my variant. This variant, everybody loves Training Arena, but I the reason being is Altaria, like, people, if you want to bump off like other stadium cards, right? You kind of really don't want to do that. The reason being is because if your opponent has Training Arena, you benefit. If your opponent has Plaza, you benefit. If your opponent has the other stadium, Plains, Chingling benefits, like, and your Jirachi benefits. So, like, you kind of are in a good spot with almost all three, and you could put, like, good damage with Jirachi and Gourgeist and stall them out with Chingling. And just having double hand disruption is so much better. But then again, most of the players are playing Training Arena, so I did find more success with Red Card myself over the Training Arena. But that being said, you do run the Sabrina, pushes for game. Cyrus also pushes for game. Licia, keep the consistency. Copycat at 1, because like you do have Licia to thin out your deck for your 50, which is amazing. Again, overall, I would recommend you to play this version of Altaria. That's personal preference, but that being said, we're gonna wrap it up here. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how you guys are doing in the metagame right now in ranked season, and just overall, what's your favorite deck? I know these decks are very like straightforward and meta, but this video is more tailored to like if you want to see results and not like hit a wall and just be like burnt out on the game, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, we'll see you next time. Thank you for coming through, and peace.